Hi friends, I'm John Laspina and I'm going to do a brief video about two terms, a ketogenic way of eating and a glucogenic way of eating. Ketogenic, glucogenic. And I think you probably already know what the difference is, but I'll just elaborate a little bit. I'll start with glucogenic. The glucogenic, glucose, that's a monosaccharide, it's a sugar. The glucogenic way of eating is eating foods that contain glucose. That's any plants at all have glucose in it. They do. Some of them are very small amount. Some of them have a larger amount. Fruits have glucose and fructose. Table sugar is a combination of glucose and fructose. You have glucose. You have glucose in all plant products. Okay, it's called starch. When you string a whole bunch of glucose molecules together, that's called a starch. And through the enzymes in your saliva and your stomach, you break that down into glucose very rapidly. So if you're eating an apple, it turns into sugar. If you're eating a piece of bread, it turns into sugar, glucose. If you're eating rice, it turns into sugar. Potato turns into sugar. Even though they don't taste sweet, a lot of those, because they're missing the fructose molecule, you're still getting glucose. It's turning into sugar. That's a glucogenic way of eating. So the standard American diet is glucogenic. Did you know you were on a glucogenic way of eating when you ate a standard American diet? You're eating processed food and you're eating a lot of glucose, along with probably fructose and maybe galactose. Now, the ketosis, glucogenic, ketogenic. A ketogenic way of eating means you're not supplying your body glucose. You're supplying your body with healthy proteins and healthy fats, and your body senses that you're not giving it a lot of glucose, and eventually you become what's called fat adapted or keto adapted. Ketones are being generated from the fat, and you get energy, a much more stable energy, from this thing called ketones. Instead of glucose, you're getting ketones. There's two pathways. There's two forms of energy. Now, as humans, we often use both because parts of our body require glucose. If you don't supply your body with any glucose at all, your liver will make the glucose from protein and fat substrates. That's called gluconeogenesis. Just the amount that parts of your body need on demand to be healthy. We don't need to ingest it. As soon as you eat an apple, you're giving yourself this huge spike of glucose and fructose, and now your pancreas has to overwork and all your hormones go crazy trying to neutralize that overload of sugar. I know that a lot of people give me flack and say, "What are you talking about? Apple's healthy." Well, it's today's apples are not the apples of 1,000 years ago. They're larger and they're bred to be sweeter and they're genetically modified and there's pesticides. And so I recommend that we not put large amounts of glucose in our body and fructose. Now, fructose follows another path. It goes directly to the liver. The liver sees fructose like it sees alcohol. And the liver has to process all the fructose in the same way that it processes alcohol. It's a poison. Did anybody ever tell you that fructose is poison? It is. Glucose is not poison. Glucose is energy. Your body uses energy. If your body doesn't get enough glucose from the diet, your body makes just the amount that it needs from the liver. There's this thing in our liver and in our muscles called glycogen. Glycogen is the storage form of sugar. And as our body needs the glucose, it accesses that glycogen. Glycogen has a glycerol backbone, and it takes that glycerol off, and that's how it generates just the amount of glucose that you need. It's actually really cool when you study the chemistry of the way this works. So back to my premise, and that was ketogenic versus glucogenic. Try to be more ketogenic in the way that you eat and not consume external glucose. Your body will generate the ketones, which are a stable, healthy form of fuel that comes from fat. You want to burn fat as fuel. We store it on our body for that reason. In times of famine, we can also use it. And our bodies will use both, but don't purposefully inject large amounts of glucose, because you will be glucogenic and then you will become dependent on that, and you get, a lot of people have cravings, a lot of people get insulin resistant that can turn into type 2 diabetes. Alzheimer's is being studied to be a type 3 diabetes from a lifetime of excess glucose. It goes on and on. It's healthier to be ketogenic and not glucogenic. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful day. Become the optimized version of yourself by becoming a ketogenic. Be a ketone person. Be a fat burner. Have a great day.